The cool night air brushed lightly over Trinity's shoulders through the thin webbing of her dress's sleeves. She was flanked on either side by her guards. They both wore dark suits. It made her feel strangely like a secret agent. A Bond girl about to infiltrate a foreign leader's mansion to gather intel. But she was no spy. She was simply a beautifully dressed girl about to be bitten in front of a large group of people who mostly hated and shunned her. Trinity bit her lip. You just need to get through the next couple of hours. Then it will be over. Everyone will know you're the new Luna, and you can settle into some kind of new normal. Ah! Trinity yelped as her silver heels caught against some small rocks that lined the path. Her ankles bent slightly, and she stumbled forward. Luna, watch out! Vincent reached out, arms circling Trinity's waist. He caught her before she hit the ground. Trinity breathed a sigh of relief. If I ruin this dress, I will never forgive myself. Are you okay, Luna? Are you hurt? He asked. Trinity shook her head. No, I'm not hurt, just embarrassed. I couldn't tell you the last time I wore heels. I'm not used to them. Vincent chuckled. Somehow that doesn't surprise me, Luna. Both he and Leslie extended their hands to Trinity to use for balance. They continued escorting her along the path until they reached their waiting area in the forest. The lunar clearing was just a small way ahead. Though they were far enough that Trinity couldn't see into the clearing, she could hear the buzz of the ever-growing crowd. Despite the number of wolves gathered, Trinity could smell Reese as though he was standing right next to her. Ahead of the mating ritual, his scent had grown thicker, more potent. Trinity wondered if her own scent was doing the same to him. Her whole body seemed to tingle with anticipation, despite all of the misgivings she had about what was to come. There was rustling in the trees behind them. Vincent and Leslie turned quickly, but they seemed relaxed. They recognized who was coming, just as Trinity did from his potent smell. It was Reese, followed by Noah. Trinity's breath hitched in her throat when she saw him. He was dressed in a slim-cut suit, a dark midnight blue that matched the undertones of Trinity's silver dress. His shirt matched his suit, and his tie seemed to be made of the same material as Trinity's dress. The whole ensemble was cut to perfection, somehow managing to accent the chisel of his muscles while creating a sleek silhouette. Reese's eyes glowed almost golden in contrast to his outfit. He looked stunning. Trinity realized her mouth had fallen open and quickly closed it. She hoped she wasn't blushing too much. The last thing she needed was to be introduced to the pack as the new Luna while looking like a full-on tomato. Reese did not seem to be affected by Trinity's appearance as she was by his. In fact, his eyes seemed to glance right over her. It was almost as though she was invisible to him. Trinity felt a slight flutter of disappointment in her chest. Everyone seemed to find her so breathtaking between the dress and Nikki's incredible makeup job. Being admired for her looks wasn't a feeling Trinity was used to, and it was strange, but nice. Yet, all the compliments that she received earlier seemed to disappear into a thin air now that Reese had taken no notice. He is the alpha. It probably doesn't matter how hot I look. He must have been expecting his Luna to be a supermodel, but he ended up with me. And even if I achieve my maximum hotness, I'll never look like that. Trinity wondered at her train of thought. She had grown up insecure about her looks, given how much shorter and paler she was than other werewolves. But she thought she had matured past that. Yet, all of those old thoughts were flooding back. Just because Reese, a man she didn't even like, hadn't looked at her. Trinity supposed she had the mate bond to thank for that. Reese turned to Vincent and Leslie.
We will begin shortly. I will announce her and then personally escort her out.
Vincent and Leslie bowed their heads. Yes, Alpha. Reese strode towards the lunar clearing with purpose. Noah lingered for a moment, giving Trinity an encouraging smile. Then he followed the Alpha. Reese and Noah emerged from the woods into the lunar clearing. The grass shone almost blue beneath the moon's light. The smell of evening primrose wafted in the air. The big, white moonflowers stretched their petals wide open, drinking in the night.
Reese made his way to the dais, the low platform set up specifically for his use. His head was swimming. In the woods, he had only allowed himself a small glance at Trinity, his to-be Luna. Then he had to look away. All evening her scent had been growing stronger and stronger until it almost felt like it had taken on physical form. He could practically feel it on his skin, and it turned his insides to water. The small glance he had gotten of her moments ago had frozen all of that water into the purest, clearest ice. His heart had nearly stopped. She was the most beautiful person he had ever seen, and he had never wanted anything more. Reese took a deep breath and did his best to clear his head. His tongue, too, felt like it needed time to thaw. But he didn't have any more time. It was time to begin the ceremony. He turned to address the crowd. "Welcome, Red Springs Wolf Pack." His voice boomed across the clearing. The faces of the pack looked up at him, like glittering stars against a sky of grass. He thanked the goddess that his voice wasn't shaking. Not because he was nervous, but because Trinity's smell was growing stronger with every passing moment. It was all he could do not to rush back into the woods and bite her right then and there. "I appreciate you all gathering here on such short notice. I know we were not meant to gather until the hunter's moon, but I have an announcement." There was a surge of speculation from the crowd. They were all at Reese's party. They all knew the alpha was seeking a mate. It was likely most of them had guessed what this get-together was all about. "Friends, family, packmates, I have found my mate. Our pack has found its Luna." The pack erupted in a buzz of excitement. "Congratulations! Hooray! Thank Goddess!" The pack had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Reese felt some relief at how thrilled they were that they were finally filling in the missing gap. Now he just had to tell them who the new Luna was. "She is here. Your Luna. I will bring her out now to meet you all." Reese stepped off the dais and walked back towards the woods where Trinity was waiting for him.
Trinity watched him emerge back through the trees. Vincent and Leslie let go of her hands, and she wobbled forward towards the alpha. She hoped she wouldn't trip or stumble again. This whole gathering would be humiliating enough when people responded to finding out who their new Luna was. She didn't need to add to the pile on with her clumsiness. Reese extended a hand towards Trinity. She took it. His skin felt soft and warm against her own. She imagined her own hand felt like a block of clammy ice. Reese was finally looking at her. His amber eyes seemed to have taken on a dark shade. Trinity couldn't tell what exactly she was seeing in his expression. She realized that Reese was staring at her neck, his Adam's apple twitching. Then she was able to place the look. It was hunger. And not just the, "I want a sandwich" kind. She shivered. The truth was, she was feeling a kind of hunger too. The truth was, she wanted him to consume every piece of her with every piece of himself. Reese led Trinity out into the lunar clearing and over to the dais. Most of the pack didn't seem to recognize her. This wasn't surprising. Trinity rarely attended wolf functions because she didn't have a wolf, but she knew everyone would recognize her name once Reese said it aloud. The few people who did seem able to place her were already exhibiting shocked frowns. Reese placed his hand around Trinity's waist, lifting her into the dais. For a brief moment, her chest brushed against his. She could hear his heart beating. It sounded fast to her, but she wasn't sure what his normal heart rate was. So that could be all in her head. Her own heart, however, was on an Olympic-level sprint. It felt as though it would beat right out of her chest. He set her on the dais, then joined her, facing the rest of the wolves. His voice rang clear and confident in the night air.
"Your new Luna, Trinity Witten."
Trinity could smell confusion and anger in the other wolves. She even caught a whiff of actual rage. Here it comes. They'll never accept me as their Luna. They'll probably kill me here and now. The rage scent grew sharper and sharper. She could see that Reese smelled it too. A deep frown was etched on his face. He may not have been thrilled that this was whom he had mated with, but the level of anger being given off bordered on absurdity. Neither Reese nor Trinity had to wonder for long who was behind the strong emotion. A woman stepped forward and screamed. Trinity recognized her as Donna. one of the nasty women from the party Reese had hosted, where he and Trinity first met. Donna seethed anger. No, I refuse to accept this imposter as my Luna. She doesn't even have a wolf. Everyone in the pack already knew this. But being reminded of it anew, under these circumstances, when Trinity looked out at the crowd of wolves in front of her, the only expression she could see on anyone's face was horror. She closed her eyes. Well, great. This is going well.
Don't let your excitement die! The full audio series is on the Pocket FM app. Tap the link in the description to install now.